This is Captain Kyle at New York City Comic Con. I'm here with Dr. Travis Langley, who has written some books on the psychology of fandoms such as Star Wars and The Walking Dead. So without giving any spoilers on your books, because we don't like spoilers, so is there anything that you want to share in general about that psychology?
Well, yeah, I am a professor of psychology and a big nerd, and for me, these things just go together. And we're not so much looking at the psychology of the fandom, although it is in there. The Walking Dead starts off with John Russo, who co-created Night of the Living Dead. He wrote a foreword for our Walking Dead psychology book, asking why zombies? Why are these popular? And that question will keep coming up. But more, we're looking at the characters. Analyzing the characters as a way of talking about real psychology. When anybody asks, why did that character do that? Or what are they going to do? Or will they do the right thing? Or are they going to do the wrong thing? You are asking questions of psychology. I do it throwing in some terms. I can talk about something like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which symptoms a character has, which ones they do not, how two different characters can both have it but with different sets of symptoms. Or one character who might look like it, no, they've got some qualities, but they're actually showing what we call post-traumatic growth. Because of the trauma they went through, they're growing as people. Carol and Daryl in The Walking Dead, incredible examples of post-traumatic growth. They found who they were more than they knew before. They've grown, found strength they never knew they had. And this happens with people in real life.
I can definitely see that. Yeah, Carol has definitely grown and changed and evolved as a character. Do you think that people who identify with a particular character have similar attributes, or is it just aspirations to be like their hero?
People identify for a lot of different reasons. Why do you identify with anyone? In some cases because you understand what they've been through. In some cases because you would like to be like them. In some cases it's because you want to make sure you're never like them. So we have a lot of reasons for why we're inspired by fictional characters, same range of reasons we're inspired by real people.
That makes a lot of sense. There are a few characters that I would not want to be like. The governor in The Walking Dead, though I've been told I do a pretty good one. Speaking of,
I can see it.
Yeah, so could a few other people. We'll show you pictures later. So, speaking of wanting to be the character, what do you think of the psychology with cosplayers who actually take it one step further, other than just, watching and reading and consuming the information, but they actually express it in costume?
I get asked that quite a bit. Now, to a large extent, I don't like to try to second-guess specific living human beings. Fictional characters not going to sue me. And it's not necessarily fair to that person, but in general, like people who think, oh, that sounds crazy. Are they going to get lost in their character? I've never known any person, any cosplayer to get so lost in their character they don't know who they are. It is a participatory fandom. We love to celebrate and feel a greater connection to these things we love instead of just passively watching. With cosplay, it is participatory fandom. You're taking part in it, a new connection to these characters. Some people, they're cosplaying because that character looks right for them. The majority, it's because it's something they love. I'm dressing like a Jedi today because I love Star Wars. I've had a few people say, it's like, well, why not Sith? Well, you are following the wrong path. I also dress as a character from Doctor Who, a very specific one, because I love Doctor Who, and because it's the one version of the Doctor who has a beard.
So the War Doctor?
Yes, I cosplay as the War Doctor, correct.
I cosplay as Jackson Lake, the one, the only, the Doctor.
Again, doing the governor. But and see, again, it's like those who get what you're doing, you always say, you get what I'm doing. We've got a connection. It may just be that brief second in passing. So the cosplay and many other things at convention let us connect with other people. Cosplay is not just about one person wearing a costume and connecting to that character. You're connecting to the other cosplayers. You're connecting to the people who don't cosplay by saying, I love this thing that you know about. I love this thing you love. So if somebody recognizes you as the character you're doing from Doctor Who, you know you've got something in common right there before anything else.
I would have to agree there. Some people have identified me. I occasionally dress as the Eighth Doctor because I can. Not that I look like Paul McGann.
As he was in the movie, or as some of the other looks he's done with it?
The movie. I haven't put together a Night of the Doctor outfit quite yet, but people have actually thought I was still cosplaying Jackson Lake when I was actually the Eighth Doctor. But on the other hand, there is a danger in cosplay where people who don't cosplay identify a cosplayer, a very good cosplayer, so strongly with a character that they kind of blur their lines. What would you speak on that?
There is that. There are people who, well, just as simple as, okay, in everyday life you're wearing a shirt for something, and somebody doesn't like that shirt, and they'll get mad at you about it. It's just a shirt. Or you're identifying as this character, and sometimes somebody will come up, not most, but somebody will like, like kind of punch this character. It's like, because they feel like they're punching the character, but it's a person. It's a human being. They may not like that character. It may be that they like the fandom. You may not be desiring to emulate the governor as a human being. It may be just your shirt, or maybe you are, but not that they don't know that ahead of time when they meet you. So yeah, there are a lot of unhealthy reactions to anything in life. People react to you because of your race, your color, your creed, your interest, your passions. That's not your problem, that's theirs.
I would tend to agree there. And there's not only the side where they hate you as the character, and a lot of people have difficulty discerning the difference between a character and an actor or even a cosplayer. But then there's those who they love this character so much, and then it becomes a little bit different type of an obsession.
There are people, I've heard, I'm not going to get too specific on these examples, but someone talking about, it's like, this character, and it's like, I'm actually related to this character, and there are individuals with some degrees of psychosis, and people overestimate the degree to which there is danger from those individuals. Most of them, for being disconnected with reality, the greatest danger they are is to themselves. But you know what, that individual, if they have found something that helps them enjoy life a little better, that's still a pretty cool thing. Because life can be very hard on individuals suffering mental illness, especially the more extreme ones we're talking about there.
I couldn't agree more, and I'm glad you didn't say any names, because that would have been a HIPAA violation, and that could have been really, really bad for us and you. So tell us more about how we can find your book and why people should read it.
The books we've got, The Walking Dead Psychology, Psych of the Living Dead came out this summer. Star Wars Psychology, Dark Side of the Mind is out this month. In the spring, we've got Game of Thrones Psychology, The Mind is Dark and Full of Terrors. Next summer, Star Trek Psychology, The Mental Frontier, and two for later next year I can't talk about yet. They're easy to find. Barnes & Noble has them ahead of everyone else, and you find them on their website. Amazon has them. So they're readily available a lot of places. If you're interested in characters, if you're interested in people, it is helpful to get insight. People who read fiction tend to gain empathy for other people. You see the characters in their private moments. You see characters and know things about their thoughts you don't know about everyday people. And you tend to gain insight into real human beings through thinking about the fiction. I ramp it up by overtly saying, here are some things we can learn about the psychology of real people by looking at these characters. It's a lot of work, a lot of fun, and sometimes you're talking about some very difficult topics. You're having fun writing about the psychology of someone who lost their family. A little hard to have fun with that when you're talking about real people. And it's not always fun writing about it with the fictional character either. But that filter of fiction helps make it easier to look. With Star Trek, the TV series, they looked at issues, interpersonal issues, social issues, in a way nobody else was at the time, because that fiction helped separate you from your predispositions that you've already got regarding these things, including everyday human life. Also, the original Star Trek taught other television producers and filmmakers that they could get into those issues. So Star Trek The Next Generation, well, you can't break ground when someone else already broke it. They got into issues that had not been brought up before. They had some parallels to AIDS and other new issues, you're still doing the kind of thing the original Star Trek did.
So do you think that these shows help us increase empathy in everyday life, which I think is lacking, quite honestly, from a lot of society today, is there's not as much empathy as there once was. Do you think that people getting into these fictions can basically increase their empathy quotient? There, we'll call it that.
Your empathy quotient. There's a lot of evidence that, yes, of course a person can be so withdrawn into their fiction that they're not going out into the real world, but for the majority of individuals, yes, the fiction actually seems to help them, connect more with other people. We have a communal experience. You and I were talking about before the interview about the communal experience that people have watching this same thing. Connecting to others. Walking Dead fans who watch that episode all at the same time, they've shared emotions from across the country. The one who's trying to catch up later on, they're going to share and just the feelings about these. And you have something in common with someone from somewhere else in the country entirely. One thing I love about this environment and these kind of fan activities, Comic-Cons, is that people are celebrating their passions. I love that. I love talking to people. I wouldn't have the experience of talking with otherwise and finding out about their passions. Their passion may not be the same as mine, but we can still connect on the way that we're loving these things.
That very true. It's great to find that commonality. Normally, I ask a lot of the people I interview who they would cosplay as. I don't think I need to ask that question with you.
I've kind of mentioned it.
You have. So, where can we find you online? Do you have a website? Do you have?
I'm the easiest place to find me, Twitter and Facebook. I am at Superherologist on Twitter. And you just go looking for Travis Langley on Twitter and Facebook. I will almost certainly be the first one you find unless there's some mutual friend you have. And Facebook, Twitter, I love talking to people. I love interacting with people. I've made a lot of very good friends through Twitter. Some of the individuals who are contributing chapters to my books I've met through Twitter. A celebrity, Chase Masterson, an actress from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We met through Twitter, and now we're friends. And we've been discussing her thoughts on some things related to my upcoming Star Trek book.
That's very cool. Well, we'll definitely look for you on Twitter, on Facebook, and at FutureCon. So thank you so much.
Thank you.